Hey guys, what is up? It is a Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog, and in this video, I kind of want to ask a question more so than I want to make a statement. But I've been tossing this idea back and forth in my head for a couple days because at this point, I think it makes sense for the Lakers to do this, even if it just increases their free throw percentage, because this is a team, the Lakers, where they could have won a lot of games just by hitting their free throws this year. I mean, it's actually pretty insane how poorly they're shooting from the free throw line this year. Russell Westbrook alone is shooting 64% from the free throw line this year and is averaging 4.7 turnovers a game. Now, the reason I'm proposing this is because I'm wondering if should the Lakers trade Russell Westbrook to the Houston Rockets for John Wall? You know, should they, I guess you could say, reverse that trade if they could? And the reason I'm saying this is because at this point, man, like, Houston is a rebuilding team. They're not going to be contending for a championship anytime soon. They're trying to shop Christian Wood, and they can't find a trade partner for John Wall. And John Wall wants to play basketball, okay? John Wall is 31 years old. Russell Westbrook is 33. And what's crazy about the two of them is Russell Westbrook has almost double the turnovers. I mean, like, I think John Wall has like 2,000 turnovers, or it's like 2,300 turnovers, and Russell Westbrook has over 4,000. Okay? And I'm thinking to myself in this respect, right? Like, both teams have an issue. Okay? John Wall wants to play, and the Lakers have a guy who plays without a conscience and is a turnover machine, and he's not hitting free throws. And in this particular instance, okay, if you're the Lakers, John Wall has a lot to offer you. And this is a trade that I think could potentially happen here at the deadline, because I know a lot of people are like, they're hearing speculation that the Lakers are considering trading Russell Westbrook. But the only guy they can really trade him for is John Wall. So if there is going to be a Russell Westbrook trade, it will most likely be for John Wall. And if you're the Lakers, I think you have to do this. At this current point in time, I feel like you got to make this trade if it's even available to you. And the reason I say that is because while Russell Westbrook and John Wall are literally fucking identical players, okay? They're literally identical. The idea that you're getting John Wall, who is 31, okay, compared to Russell Westbrook, who's 33 years old, okay, you get a player who's 2 years younger, you're paying literally almost the same exact salary. Like, Russell Westbrook and John Wall have damn near identical salaries. I mean, the difference is by $100,000, maybe less, okay? So the trade can work straight up. Maybe you have to send Houston a future first round pick or a future second rounder, but if you can get John Wall, okay, at least you know you're getting a guy who doesn't turn the ball over as much. You're getting a guy who's going to shoot at least 70% from the free throw line, which Russell Westbrook is shooting an abysmal 64% from the free throw line. John Wall's probably going to shoot about the same percentage as Westbrook, if I'm being honest, okay? Like, John Wall shoots about 40 to 43% from the field, about 32% from the three-point line, and about 70% from the free throw line, okay? But the fact of the matter is, with John Wall, you're getting a better defender. You're getting a guy who doesn't turn the ball over as much. He's going to give you about 19, 20 points per game. And I think one of the bigger things here is, and this I think is actually the biggest, is not only are you getting a better defender, because John Wall blocks more shots than Russell Westbrook does. When it comes to blocks, I think blocks per game, John Wall's like a 0.7, Russell Westbrook is a 0.3. When it comes to steals, they're both a 1.7, so they're identical. But when it comes to ball distribution, John Wall, I think, is a way better fit for the Lakers. He's an athletic guy, but at the same time, it's like you're getting John Wall, a guy who, in late game situations, or in any fucking situation for that matter, at least has the awareness to look around and see, okay, LeBron's open. Hey, AD's open down low in the paint, or something like that. Because John Wall can do the same thing as Russell Westbrook does. I think he just does them slightly more efficient, if that makes any sense. I feel like John Wall actually has a feel for the game of basketball, where Russell Westbrook is just going to go a million miles an hour 100% of the time. And, you know, when you're the Rockets, okay, the salary cap is still the same. Maybe somebody takes Russell Westbrook. Either way, I mean, you're both fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, either way, it doesn't really matter who gets what here, because the Lakers need John Wall in order to, I guess you could say, make an improvement to their team. And the Houston Rockets aren't going anywhere anyway. So even if Russell Westbrook is on your roster for the next year or two, you're going to pay him $40 million a year anyway. They're both going to be making $40 million a year. But if you're going to have either one of them, like, you might as well just help the Lakers out, because you're not winning anything. Nobody's going to trade anything for either of them. And, you know, John Wall is clearly not happy in Houston. Russell Westbrook is happy in LA, but he's just not playing well. So, like, I think to myself, like, I think a John Wall trade could actually help the Lakers a lot. And the reason I say that is just simply for the basketball IQ standpoint. The idea that John Wall has a better feel for the game than Russell Westbrook does. And for the people out there who are like, oh, well, John Wall's not going to average a triple-double. Well, that's part of the problem, actually, believe it or not. You know, John Wall's not going to average a triple-double. Yes, because you don't need him to, okay? You need a point guard who's going to play defense and a guy who's actually going to, like, make the proper decision with the basketball. And I feel like John Wall is better suited to be in a position for that than Russell Westbrook is. Russell Westbrook has never in his career been really had to defer to anyone else. You know what I'm saying? Even when he was playing with Kevin Durant, like, he's the reason Kevin Durant left, is because it's like, you know, they hold me to a higher standard than they hold Russ to, and Russ is the reason that we lose. You know what I'm saying? And I just think to myself, if you're the Lakers, what do you have to lose at this point? You know, that's the last thing. It's like, how much worse can it really get? You know what I'm saying? At least if you get John Wall, you get a guy who's younger. You know what I'm saying? You get a guy who's got a little more youth. That's about it. And you get a guy who plays better defense. I think when it comes to defense, John Wall is a significant upgrade from Russell Westbrook. And just the idea that I have more confidence in John Wall to make the correct decision with a basketball than I do Russell Westbrook at this current point in time. And when you consider the fact that John Wall only averages at most 3.5 turnovers a game, where Russell Westbrook is averaging like 4.5, 4.7, almost 5 turnovers a game. If you just get a guy who can hit free throws and cut down on turnovers and play defense, that helps you. It helps you significantly in the Lakers' case, okay? And not only that, but John Wall is actually going to look for people. He's actually going to look for LeBron. He's actually going to look for Malik Monk. He's actually going to look for Anthony Davis. Whereas you're not going to have a guy like Russell Westbrook out here just chucking shots. And I think that's also partially killing the Lakers as well. A lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, I had one guy in the comments on my last video say that I was overreacting. Well, it's kind of hard not to, okay? But, like, at the same time, I think to myself, I'm not the only one overreacting, because Russell Westbrook literally is about 40% of the Lakers' offense right now. Like, he literally makes up for 40% of the Lakers' offense right now in their games, and it's on horrible efficiency. He's shooting, 31% from 3, 64% from the free throw line. He's averaging 5 turnovers a game, and we're out here saying, like, Russell Westbrook is not a huge portion of the problem. And I get it. Yes, Anthony Davis is part of the problem. Okay, the Lakers' whole defense is part of the problem. Their lineups are part of the problem. Okay, the idea that they're shooting abysmal from mid-range as well is part of the problem. But you need somebody who is capable of being a facilitator on the Lakers roster, and I don't think Russell Westbrook is that guy. I just don't. I don't think he has the IQ or the, I guess you could say, care to be a facilitator or a playmaker, where John Wall will do that. We've seen John Wall do that in the past. I mean, how many years has John Wall averaged a double-digit career assists? Okay, so from 2015, okay, up until 2018, John Wall has averaged over 10 assists a game, okay? And in 2018, 2019, he averaged 8.7. With Washington in 2017, 2018, 9.6. Okay, so for career-wise, John Wall is averaging 9.1 assists a game. So at least you're getting a guy who you know is going to distribute, and he's going to grab you about anywhere from 3.5 to 4 rebounds a game at least. Okay, so all I'm saying is at least, and not only that, but he gets a chance to take a step back with the Lakers as well. He still last year, man, 2020 to 2021, he played 40 games, started all 40 games, played 32 minutes and scored 20 points a game, averaged 7 assists, 1 steal. Rebounding took a bit of a decline, but it was still 3 rebounds a game, 74% from the free throw line, 40% from the field, 31% from 3. That's not much better than what Russell Westbrook is doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Field goal percentage wise, yes, it's significantly worse. But, I just think like John Wall will at least be in a situation where he's not asked to be the primary scorer or the second scoring option, where I think that's where what Russell Westbrook maybe is right now on the Lakers roster, and it doesn't make any sense to me because I also think like if in my mind, right, like the primary scoring option is LeBron, Anthony Davis, then Russell Westbrook, but right now it's more like LeBron, Russell Westbrook, and AD, and I don't think that's the way that it should be, and not for nothing, but I don't think Russell Westbrook would adjust well to a change like that as well. He just doesn't have the, I guess you could say, I don't think he has the willpower to be a third option. Whereas John Wall, I think, does. I think John Wall is at a point in his career where he realizes what he is. And I just don't think Russell Westbrook realizes that, And it's sad, it's unfortunate because I wanted to see this work. But I feel like if you're the Lakers and you're Rob Pelinka and you clearly need to make roster changes, if you want any shot at winning this year, the first move I'm making is trading Russell Westbrook for John Wall just flat out less turnovers, potentially higher free throw percentage, and a guy who's a better distributor, a guy who actually has like a feel for the game of basketball. So that's it for me, guys. Tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this. Like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more. This has been the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.